Greetings, friends. It's Denise again with Denise's Dancing Paintbrush, and I have another collage I've been working on for my children's book. This is a story from China called The Water Mother, and I really enjoyed doing this one. I had to do a lot of research finding water pots that looked like they might have come from China, and an actual photo of a well that was used in ancient China so that it would actually fit with the story. I decided at the last minute to put a crane. Not that a crane really has anything to do with this particular story, but cranes are, well, good luck and very highly revered in China, and so I thought a crane would be appropriate. So in the story of the Water Mother, there was a woman who lived with her daughter and her daughter-in-law. Though the daughter-in-law was dutiful, her mother-in-law hated her. One day, she decreed that they would no longer buy water from any water carriers, but the daughter-in-law would have to carry it from the well. The work was too hard for her, but she was beaten when she failed. The water jar was very heavy, especially when it was filled with water, and it was very difficult, and often she couldn't handle filling it all the way up. One day, she thought of drowning herself in the well, but an old woman came along and told her not to, and gave her a stick. And she told her, strike the water jar with the stick. She was told to tell no one about it and never strike the jar twice. For a time, the daughter-in-law was very happy, but her mother-in-law became suspicious and wondered how she was able to carry the water that she hadn't been able to carry before. So she spied on her. And seeing how it was done, she stole the stick and struck the jar twice. This caused a flood to gush out of the jar. It drowned many houses, and it drowned her daughter-in-law. The water jar had become a spring. Afterward, a great temple was raised for the daughter-in-law, and they called her the Water Mother. I also added a cat for fun, for laughs, because I kind of wanted an animal in all of these pictures somewhere. Though a cat doesn't necessarily fit with the story either, it seemed appropriate to have a cat lounging around a water well. I added little grasses all around just to give the illusion of depth and a ground. And I don't intend to paint the ground or to put any collage on the ground for this particular story. These are all, as you can see, pieces and pages from magazines and catalogs and even Avon catalogs. You can see I cut out her face from the brow of this lady who was posing in an Avon catalog. Time to give her dress some color. You notice in some places I like to tear the paper and others I like to cut it. It's just personal preference. Sometimes the little ripped, torn edges look kind of good, and in other places like faces and even on the cat, I didn't want any torn fringy areas to overwhelm the details that I was going for. Also on the bird, I cut all those pieces rather than tear them. And I cut her arms. And I cut the whiskers, as you can see. I also decided in the end to cut all of the bricks for the well. I originally wanted to tear them, but I just didn't think I was going to get them torn in just the right shapes. And finally, here it is, all put together, a Chinese fairy tale. I sure appreciate you taking the time to watch all this. Thanks. Come again.